Hello and welcome to Michelle's Podcast News, your daily update on what's happening around the podcasting community of companies, technologies, and partnerships. I am your host, Michelle Tandler, and today we have some exciting news to share about the New York Times and their latest venture into the podcasting world. The New York Times is set to debut the first podcast for Wirecutter, its renowned product reviews brand, on August 21st. This new show, named The Wirecutter Show, is part of a broader initiative to make Wirecutter's journalism more accessible and to strengthen its business resilience amid the ever-evolving media landscape.
Cliff Levy, the deputy publisher of Wirecutter, explained to Axios that Wirecutter is not just diversifying its business model, but also its platforms. This expansion is a strategic move to reach and engage a wider audience. The Wirecutter Show will be available on the Times audio app, NYT Audio, and for free on any platform where consumers get their podcasts.
Interestingly, Polestar, the electric car company, is the launch sponsor for the show. The podcast aims to simplify consumer recommendations on complex topics through engaging storytelling and detailed explainers rooted in Wirecutter's rigorous, journalism-driven product reviews. The show is co-hosted by Kyra Blackwell and Christine Circlisse, with Rosie Guerin producing. They will be joined by Wirecutter journalists who will offer practical advice, hacks, and in-depth examples of products suited for specific needs. For instance, the first episode will delve into secrets for better laundry with Wirecutter Appliances reporter Andrea Barnes. The second episode will focus on maintaining clean indoor air with insights from Tim Heffernan, a Wirecutter writer specializing in air purifiers. Levy, who also serves as deputy publisher of the Times sports site, The Athletic, noted that Wirecutter's audio efforts have drawn inspiration from the broader success of the Times in the audio realm. Since its release in May of 2023, the NYT audio app has achieved over 1 million downloads, and the Times podcasts were downloaded nearly 1 million times last year.
For some context, the New York Times acquired Wirecutter in 2016 for over $30 million. While the majority of Wirecutter's revenue has traditionally stemmed from affiliate marketing, earning commissions from product traffic referrals through retailers like Amazon or Walmart, the Times has been proactive in expanding Wirecutter's business model. This includes introducing a paid subscription service to the site in 2021.
Although Levy did not disclose figures for Wirecutter's paid subscriptions, it is clear that the brand's email newsletter has seen substantial growth, ballooning from 400,000 subscribers a year ago to 2.5 million today.
Wirecutter's audience has primarily been transactional, but the Times hopes that the new podcast will help foster a more intimate relationship with the brand. Levy mentioned, this podcast is taking a different lens to the Wirecutter sensibility. It is not about telling you what to buy, it is about being helpful. Rosie Guerin added that the podcast aims to give voice to Wirecutter's journalists and to share the thought process behind their product recommendations.
With a team of 140 journalists, Wirecutter has become a significant player in the Times' revenue diversification strategy. In fact, Wirecutter drove $1 billion in commerce through its product reviews last year, which is approximately triple the amount from 2019. Looking ahead, the rise of generative artificial intelligence is expected to significantly impact how consumers obtain information from search results. Levy emphasized the importance of being prepared for such changes, stating, "We do not know where Google search is going, but we need to be ready. We need to be nimble. And the more that we can take Wirecutter's core journalism and put it on new platforms and in new story forms to reach new audiences, the more we can set ourselves up to be less vulnerable to the risk of disruption on search." That wraps up our segment on the New York Times' exciting new venture, The Wirecutter Show. Stay tuned for more updates and insights from the podcasting world. Up next, we will be discussing Sinclair's expansion of its podcast content division. This month, Sinclair is adding to its podcast division, launching a new slate of sports programming featuring top athletes, coaches, and experts. On August 21st, Sinclair will launch The Triple Option, hosted by Urban Meyer, Mark Ingram II, and Rob Stone. On September 5th, Throwbacks with Matt Leinart and Jerry Ferrara will debut. Sinclair expects to introduce additional shows to its growing podcast lineup, giving audiences unparalleled access to athletes and games. Rob Weisbord, Chief Operating Officer and President of Local Media, said, "As Sinclair continues to evolve into a cross-media platform company, we are thrilled to announce the official launch of our new sports podcast division." He emphasized that podcasting is a natural extension of Sinclair's commitment to providing engaging content. "We are excited to bring together top talent and passionate storytellers to deliver in-depth analysis, exclusive interviews, and the latest news in the world of sports," Weisbord added. "We have seen great success with our existing news-focused podcasts, and these additions will be a game changer for sports fans everywhere, offering exclusive access to the stories and voices that matter most." Eric Wells, Sinclair's Chief Digital Monetization Officer, added, "We have secured inaugural sponsorships with many great brands, including Wendy's, BetMGM, National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, and ZipRecruiter, with more to be announced soon. Our partners share in the vision of what we are building, and we appreciate their passion and creativity. Leveraging the power of Sinclair's linear, digital, and social assets to power promotion and sales efforts for the Sinclair Sports Group fundamentally sets us apart in the marketplace." The Triple Option is a weekly show hosted by Urban Meyer, Mark Ingram II, and Rob Stone. It will provide analysis, opinions, and unique insights on the biggest topics in college football, the National Football League, leadership, and more. Meyer, a three-time national champion head coach at Ohio State and Florida, takes the audience inside the mind of decision-makers and explores championship-caliber leadership and locker room culture. Ingram, a national champion and Heisman Trophy winner at Alabama and NFL veteran running back with the New Orleans Saints, Baltimore Ravens, and Houston Texans, gives the player perspective. Stone has seen it all, bringing more than 2 decades of experience covering sports as a broadcaster. The Triple Option will launch on August 21st, with new episodes each Wednesday available on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all podcast platforms. Follow The Triple Option on Instagram, TikTok, X, Facebook, and Reddit at 3X Option Show.
Throwbacks. Heisman Trophy winner Matt Leinart and actor Jerry Ferrara may feel like opposites, but the two share more in common than initially meets the eye. They both know what it is to experience extreme success. They both love talking sports, and they are both navigating the challenges of dad life. In their new weekly podcast, Matt and Jerry will share stories about leading one of the biggest football teams and television shows of their time, while also delivering thoughtful sports opinions and relatable family adventures. Throwbacks will launch on September 5th, with new episodes each Thursday, available on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all podcast platforms.
Now let's shift gears a bit and talk about how podcasts are being used to bridge the gap between science communication and specialized scientific fields. A recent study published in the journal Frontiers in Communication has highlighted some fascinating findings in this area. The study, led by researchers Nair Riemann, Victoria Edkins, and Nivs Ogrink, evaluated the effectiveness of podcasts in disseminating specialized scientific knowledge, using mass spectrometry as a case study. The research involved the production of 4 podcast episodes that featured interviews with researchers who work extensively with mass spectrometry. To gather feedback, the researchers employed a mixed methods approach that included both questionnaires and interviews. They found that audience engagement was significantly influenced by factors like familiarity with science and the relatability of the content. This suggests that to attract a wider audience, it's crucial to balance technical aspects with real-life examples that listeners can relate to. The study revealed that the digital age has revolutionized how scientific information is shared. Podcasts, in particular, have emerged as a cultural phenomenon since their introduction in 2004. They offer increased flexibility compared to traditional broadcasting, as they are not restricted by specific times or locations. This makes it easier for both creators and listeners to engage with the content at their convenience. One of the key findings of the study was that humor and storytelling can significantly enhance engagement with scientific content. The researchers found that integrating personal narratives and everyday examples made complex topics like mass spectrometry more understandable and relatable to a broader audience.
The podcast produced for the study covered a range of applications for mass spectrometry, including food and environmental analysis, proteomics and diagnostics, pharmaceuticals and forensics, and cancer research. Each episode was designed to appeal to different listener preferences, with lengths varying from 10 to 30 minutes.
Interestingly, the study found that the tone and conversation style of the podcasts were crucial for audience engagement. Most listeners preferred a conversational tone that included personal stories and practical applications of the scientific concepts being discussed. This aligns with previous research suggesting that a more casual, narrative-driven approach can make scientific content more accessible. Another important aspect highlighted by the study was the role of familiarity with scientific topics in driving engagement. Listeners who had some prior knowledge or interest in science were more likely to engage deeply with the content. However, even those without a scientific background found the podcasts informative and engaging when the content was presented in a relatable manner. The researchers also provided several recommendations for improving science podcasts. These included using more layperson's terms to make the content accessible, focusing on practical applications, and incorporating elements like group discussions and video formats to enhance engagement. Overall, the study underscores the potential of podcasts as a powerful tool for science communication. By balancing technical details with relatable stories and practical examples, podcasts can make specialized scientific fields more accessible to a diverse audience. This approach not only educates, but also entertains, making it easier for listeners to connect with complex scientific topics. That wraps up our episode for today. Thank you for tuning in to Michelle's Podcast News. Join us again tomorrow for more updates and insights from the podcasting world. Until then, happy listening.